I'm Stefanie Gardner, and I teach at Glendale Community College, and I play with Paradise Winds and Egide duo.
And my name is Josh Gardner. I teach at Arizona State University, and I also play with Paradise Winds Reed Quintet and the Egide duo. In our Reed Quintet, we really enjoyed the sound of the clarinet and the bass clarinet paired together. And we decided that we should explore that as a genre, the soprano clarinet and the bass clarinet as a duo. We wanted to do something meaningful, not just introducing new repertoire by commissioning and working with composers. We wanted to do something that addressed certain issues that we felt very strongly about, particularly environmental issues, social issues, political issues, human rights issues, animal rights issues. All of these things we're very passionate about, and in working with composers, we're able to foster new music that might help an audience member think a little bit differently about the topic, or even just think about the topic in more depth, to maybe encourage them to act.
This Homeless Way by Jonathan Russell, and it's based on a set of poetry by Jacob Folger. He was actually homeless for a long time, this poet, and he wrote a set of poems about his experience. The piece is in 3 movements, and it really demonstrates our ability to match timbre and play around with who is who. We can't really tell sometimes. We go back and forth. And a lot of that is because our clarinets are so amazing and they match so well that we can do a lot of timbral play.
My mother raised me by herself while trying to get through school, and really she depended on the social programs to provide food stamps and other services to make it possible for us to eat. And it's becoming more and more difficult for low-income families to really survive. And John, this is something that's been on John's mind for a while, and that's why he decided to write this piece addressing it. And I think it's hauntingly beautiful.
He said the words in the music,
yeah.
So when we are playing it, you can hear the poetry, and when we perform it, we hand the poetry out to the audience so they can follow along. Usually composers contact us with a few ideas, and we generally pick one that hits home with us, and then they expand on that idea.
We try not to limit or really even prompt them with specifics, because we want it to be something that's meaningful to them, because they're going to write more passionately about something that they care about. So we kind of stay hands off at the beginning with that, just providing the prompt of addressing some pertinent social issue or environmental issue that's important to them.
I like to have a holistic approach. Sometimes they come in and they've never had a clarinet lesson before, so I have a lot of work to do. But they have a big heart, and they want to move ahead very quickly. So I try to teach them, of course, the fundamentals, but I have to make sure that they're okay as humans too, making sure that they have food and support and the motivation to get through a degree.
For me, philosophically, my priority to my students is to make them as independent from me as possible. And at the same time, equipping them with all of the tools that they need to be expressive in any way they choose to be with their instrument. And that means overcoming the technical demands of the instrument, the musical conventions of multiple styles, multiple genres, to be able to play extended techniques. Ultimately, I want them to be able to do what they want to do and to do it very successfully so that they can become employed. That's ultimately the most important thing, that they are finding work and doing what's meaningful to them. And that makes me very happy. Because I try to be a mentor to them. I try to be available to them at hours that I probably shouldn't be, because I want them to feel like they have a someone who is truly dedicated to helping them achieve their goals and to make their degree as valuable as possible. I tend to not change equipment very much because I'm very routine oriented. I don't like mixing things up too much because I like predictability. I like knowing what things are going to feel like, knowing where pitch is going to be, knowing how the resistance is going to be. But there comes a point where you don't necessarily want to work quite as hard to achieve your objectives, your musical objectives. And in 2015, I had the opportunity to visit the SELMER Paris showroom and try many instruments, all of which were fantastic. And at that time, I picked one instrument in particular that I really liked because it was easy to play. And that's huge, because the instrument, the easier it is to play, the easier it is to do what you want to do with the instrument. Because the instrument, it's a tool, it's a conduit through which you can express yourself musically. Ultimately, it needs to be efficient. It needs to not be in your way. It needs to do things easily and predictably. And it needs to be flexible enough for whatever you happen to want to do with it. And this instrument seemed to achieve those objectives, which was really a really nice feeling. I found that it just made my life easier. And that was a huge statement to me that maybe a change is necessary, because we're busy. We don't have time to deal with problems that could easily be alleviated, and that was a big selling point for me for making a switch, especially for someone who doesn't really like to change things very much. And on top of that, my experience with the company has been fantastic, because it feels like family. It feels like home.
I tried his instrument and then decided that I would like to try some more, and was very interested in trying the bass clarinets. I'd heard that they were very nice instruments, and then I tried bass clarinets and was amazed at how easy everything was, especially the upper registers. Everything's very even and in tune and projects well. Sometimes I was having problems projecting in the clarion range of the bass clarinet, but on a SELMER instrument, everything just so even. And when we play our duos, we do a lot of voice exchanging, and it's nice to have good balance and blend, and it wasn't always that easy.